Hey guys, thanks for being here and watching. What you see on the screen right now is the missing persons poster for Kiely Rodni, age 16, 5'7", blonde hair, hazel eyes, 118 pounds. I wanted you to see it for yourself. And for the rest of this video, I will just be presenting facts and screenshots from the autopsy and things I have Googled. Now it is up to you to form your own opinion. But I really feel it's important for us to form our own opinion when you see the receipts on your screen. So I ask you to do that. And then after seeing all of this information, reviewing it, give me your thoughts in the comments. It's important that we look at this with fresh eyes, especially if these subjects are brought back up again. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to discussing this with you. Okay, so we have the autopsy, and clearly says height 5'5", 103. So this is the first problem that many people have, that it's different. And this is the receipt showing you that it is, in fact, different. What could be the reasons for this? It could be as simple as, they didn't take her weight before she went missing, right? Do we know what she actually weighed before this party? Someone could be just guessing at her height. Again, just some things to consider. And then you have DNA taken. It says no. DNA refused. No. Location of DNA sample, it's blank. So this leads to the question, or how did they identify her, right? If they didn't take any DNA, or why wouldn't they take any DNA? Anyway, there it is in black and white that they did not take DNA, period. Okay, so here we're talking about place of death, Prosser Creek Reservoir, yes. The death was reported by the private dive company. The cause is drowning. And underneath, you have the option to label it, due to what. And there's nothing underneath. If you were in the live yesterday, we discussed this briefly, or I tried to, talking about, you can drown, but how do you know it's not a result of foul play? And this is also addressed in the autopsy. We'll get to that in a second, but it just says drowning, due to, it's blank, blank, blank. Again, another part of the autopsy, describe how the injury occurred. Decedent drowned in a lake while inside her vehicle. Okay. Here we're talking about cause of death. Later on in the autopsy, cause of death is pending investigation. Even though it's been ruled as an accident, this is the accident report now, pending investigation. So at least here, they're not sure of how this accident happened. It's never clear in any of the reports that she actually drove herself, because if you think about it, that cannot be confirmed that she actually drove herself. All we know that she was in the vehicle when the vehicle entered the water. That's about as much fact as we know. We cannot assume that she was driving it because there is no evidence of that. Right? There's as much evidence that she is as that she isn't. If you think about it. You can't sway one way unless you consider the other. Because unless you have solid proof, a picture of her driving, someone saying that they saw her driving, then you assuming that she drove into the water is as valid as me saying she didn't drive herself into the water. Does that make sense? Now, discussing the tattoo. Here it says, mark scars tattoo, none observed. This is the other issue that people have with this report. And I personally have not seen these tattoos on Kiely, but people say that she has these tattoos. So I went looking for where it is stated that she has these said tattoos. And so this is what I found. A news article from Fox News. I was reading through it, and there's a lot of information here. I'm not sure if I've actually read through this entire one. But this is where I found that it talks about that too. And I'm sure there are many other websites, but this is where I am now. Rodni had enough drinks to become drunk, according to her friend and another recent graduate, Sammy Smith, who added that she did not believe the teen would have driven under the circumstances. Okay. At that point, when I left, I thought she was going to stay there, said Smith, who departed the campground just a few minutes before Rodni was last seen. Everybody was camping. It was late enough that she should have stayed. She's not the type to go and drunk drive or anything. Sammy said she spent most of the night with Rodni. For the amount of drinks... Oh, I should probably go back. Well, never mind. Let's see. Then this is Neiman talking about her. And then Smith, 18, said that there were plenty of attendees whom she had not previously met, but none who seemed suspicious, gave unwanted attention, or followed the pair around. She said she didn't notice anyone much older, and that the party consisted mainly of teens, recent graduates. Okay. But remember, she said it was scary? We met a few strangers together, she said. We both tended to trust people. I say tended to because now I don't think I will continue to trust people. But she'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt. Remember that Sam said that it was scary, that she knew something was wrong, that she had a bad feeling? I want to know why the change of opinion. So as you continue to read this article, you will see descriptions of her. And here we have a lack of reach out from many Tahoe kids who were at the party or may know any information. Yes, and we know why, because their parents told them not to say anything. On top of her missing poster, do you see how it says Truckee Thursdays? And so here is where it talks about she has blonde hair and hazel eyes. She has a tattoo on her ribs of the number 17. Now, regarding identification of Kiely, this is what Autopsy says. Lindsay and Daniel were contacted at CHP's office. Now consider that. Why is it CHP that is contacting the family? Does it matter? Does it not? I don't know. You guys think about that. You tell me. And notified there was a decedent located in the vehicle registered to Kiely. Positive identification was not able to be made at that time. Based on circumstantial evidence, the decedent was believed to be Kiely. They were advised of the pending pathologist report for confirmation of identity and cause of death. So, wouldn't they want to go and identify her? I mean, I would see why they wouldn't if they didn't know if it was her, because that could be traumatic. Someone tells you, we think it's your daughter, and then you go and it's not. So I would see why they were maybe hesitant, but there's more to that, I think. Here we have from that incident report, case disposition. This case is pending the forensic pathologist finding for identification and cause of death. Again, in the autopsy, cause of death was drowning. So I feel like there are questions as to what led to this drowning. Does that make sense? And you know what? That's all I'm going to say about it. I was about to go into this emotional speech situation, but I'm not going to do that. I wanted to be as factual as possible in this video and just give you screenshots and autopsy stuff so you can see things for yourself and not rely on someone else's opinion. What you see here is the sheriff's report, supplemental investigation. Positive identification of the decedent had been made by Detective Josephine Strachan. I hope I say that right. During the autopsy, Detective Strachan was present during the autopsy and documented her observations and the method of identification in a supplemental report to the original missing persons report. So this is how the identification was made. It was not the parents that positively identified her. It was this detective. I don't know what that means. Again, maybe the parents couldn't stomach going to view their child and positively identify. But it says case disposition closed, accident. But you also have to remember there are many divisions here that were participating in this investigation. You had FBI, you had CHP, you had local Truckee PD, you had Placer County Sheriff. So just because one investigation says it's closed, like the sheriff's office, doesn't mean that California Highway Patrol has closed its portion of the investigation. And as far as I'm concerned, if they have closed it, they are not releasing documents. And Plunder has provided that we do not have FBI's report. I really think that's what people want. They want to see everything because of all the questions that they have. Now, last thing regarding the toxicology report. Not my strongest subject here, but when I was reading it, it says, when it says the analysis and it says ethanol, nicotine, caffeine, it says presumpt POS. So I had to Google that and kind of figure out what that meant, presumpt POS. And this is what I found on Google, but let me know what you think. Okay, yes, I was saying it kind of weird, but it's presumptive positive. So it's an unconfirmed positive enzyme screen test results will show as presumptive positive. So all the stuff that she's presumpt POS, it's a really weak test, and it can be wrong. So just something to consider. I didn't know that. Many of you might have known that, but I didn't. So that toxicology report I would take with a grain of salt. Yeah, I don't know. So that's as much as I'm going to put here. I realize this video has turned into a very long video. But if you want me to continue digging into the autopsy and kind of breaking it down in the way that I'm doing it, then let me know in the comments below. I look forward to discussing it with you. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.